fireproofing Santa Claus to the missing Crown Prince of Romania, here's what was in the news in December 1925. This is the Old Hat Revue. President Calvin Coolidge is a present keeper. Reports out of Washington, D.C. claim the president snuck off to the executive office building's mailroom, grabbed a few wrapped Christmas presents, and covertly brought them to his office. There, he committed the cardinal sin of Christmas and peeped. He was, embarrassingly, unable to rewrap the gifts neatly and had to enlist a messenger to help him cover up his transgression. Tragic news out of Port Huron, Michigan, as Santa Claus has died. Or, at least a man named William Johnson, dressed as Santa Claus, has died. Johnson suffered a heart attack while donning the red and white suit and collapsed in front of a crowd of 100 children, who no doubt had some questions for their parents later. The festivities, however, continued. Fire Chief George Watson seeks to prevent further Santa-related tragedies and urges all Santas out there to dispense with cotton whiskers and use a more fireproof material instead, lest some child's holiday spirit be sullied by seeing St. Nick's beard ablaze. Fire Chief Watson also had some other helpful advice for avoiding fires this holiday season, such as not placing lit candles in windows near loose draperies, keeping dry Christmas trees away from sparks, and avoiding toys that require the use of alcohol, kerosene, or gasoline. Fire Chief Watson also discourages using cotton as fake snow. If you must have fake snow, he recommends using a safer material instead, like asbestos. If I were Santa Claus, I'd put on an extra sleigh and load it with flashlights, because there wouldn't be a single person on my list from 6 to 60 who wouldn't be mighty glad to own a flashlight. An ever-ready flashlight, of course. Ives electric trains have all the 1925 features your boy wants. That's right, your boy wants an Ives train for Christmas. New this year is a push-button control that stops and backs all Ives reversing locomotives by a touch of the finger. Available at leading department stores, toy stores, hardware stores, sporting goods stores, and electric stores. A cold snap has gripped the United States, but at least in Des Moines, Iowa, they find some solace knowing they won't be bothered by bees, mosquitoes, or flies for a while now. Making the best of the weather, citizens of Washington, D.C. laced up their ice skates and made their way to the National Mall. Under the marble eyes of the now 3-year-old President Lincoln sitting in his new memorial, skaters took laps around the reflecting pool, twirled gracefully, played hockey, and undoubtedly took some spills upon the ice. An escaped circus elephant has laid waste to the Texas countryside near San Antonio. The elephant has been smashing through fences, barns, gates, and automobiles, and was last seen rampaging toward the town of Pearsall. If you're in the Pearsall area, keep an extra eye open. Airplane Chicago, flagship of the first aerial circumnavigation of the globe, has arrived in Washington, D.C. and is to be displayed at the Smithsonian. The Chicago was one of 4 aircraft that carried an 8-man team on their 175-day journey around the world. French inventor Maxime Guillaume is reported to have obtained surprisingly good results toward the construction of a fast airplane which will dispense with propellers and rely for propulsion upon a discharge of a highly compressed gas. It remains to be seen if such a jet-powered novelty has a place in the rapidly evolving field of aviation. More technical innovation is coming out of France as television has been invented. Edouard Belin claims to have demonstrated his invention for the French Photographic Society by transmitting and then reproducing an image of Louis Lumière, president of the society. Some news from the Department of the Navy. The mysterious disappearance of the USS Cyclops has perplexed the Navy and the wider public for nearly 8 years. Theories range from German U-boat attack to corrosive chemical reactions in the cargo hold. and theories were all the Navy had until recently, when the USS Orion, a ship of the same design and function as the Cyclops, limped into Norfolk, Virginia after encountering a harrowing gale. Crew and officers aboard the Orion say the ship buckled between two waves and nearly snapped in half. An investigation in dry dock confirmed severe structural damage amidships. Many now believe it is logical to assume the Cyclops met the same fate that the Orion so narrowly escaped. Stronger Hawaiian defenses have been proposed to the House Naval Committee in Congress. After inspecting the current fortifications, Representative Stevens of Ohio concluded the defenses should be bolstered, particularly in the Pearl Harbor area. Although who the Navy anticipates defending Hawaii against is anybody's guess. The Empire of Japan finds the idea of a future war with the United States to be an absurdity and physically impractical, says Japanese Prime Minister Kato Takaki. Furthermore, he declared that the present policy of non-interference in Manchuria would be continued and that no more Japanese troops would be sent thither unless absolutely necessary. In related news, on December 16th, Japan sent 6 battalions of troops to Manchuria in an effort to maintain order in the Manchu city of Shenyang, also known as Mukden. Though this move coincides with a recent surge of factional fighting in China, the Japanese War Department maintains this troop movement does not represent a departure from its policy of neutrality. An agreement has finally been reached between the United Kingdom and the Irish Free State regarding the border between the recently independent state and Northern Ireland. After years of internal and external violence and unrest, the Free State entrusted President William Thomas Cosgrave to negotiate the treaty in London. And, as a sign of true compromise, it seems neither party is entirely happy with the outcome. If you've got a holiday bonus check burning a hole in your pocket, why not buy the Imperial Crown of Tsarist Russia, only $52 million. Soviet officials are debating selling the Romanov crown jewels, and firms from the Netherlands to the United States have expressed interest in buying. These precious items were displayed in Moscow for American journalists, who were even allowed to handle them freely. No attempt was made to search them upon leaving the premises. The Crown Prince of Romania is missing. Rumors of affairs swirl as the already twice-married Prince Karol Hohenzollern shirks his stately duties to allegedly cavort around Italy and indulge in wine and women. Royal emissaries dispatched by his mother, Queen Marie, have chased him from Venice to Turin to Milan to Ravenna, yet have been unsuccessful in their task of bringing the royal playboy back to Bucharest. Queen Marie has asked Italian and Austrian banks to stop giving him money and enabling this behavior. The Romanian court is much perturbed by this whole situation. British men aren't gay enough, and some think rainbow umbrellas may be the solution. Winters in London are famously dreary, and the traditional black umbrellas only seem to enhance that dreadful mood. Thus, it is thought that gaily hued umbrellas for men would raise the British spirit. Mustaches have fallen out of vogue in Germany. Movie stars are increasingly clean-shaven, and the damen prefer their hairs with a smoother upper lip. Fritzi Massary, an operatic star, thinks the mustache has no chance of revival in any form. It seems, at least for now, we have seen the end of famous German mustaches. Charles Ponzi has a scheme to pay back the debt incurred from his previous scheme. The Italian businessman's famous get-rich-quick endeavor landed him 86 counts of mail fraud, 3 years in jail, and $2 million in the hole. His unfortunate investors collectively lost closer to $20 million. Recently released from prison, he is now in Florida with a real estate venture that he promises will pay 300% profit for anybody old enough to invest in Ponzi's scheme. George Gershwin, whose jazz wizardry also extends to his own facile fingers as a pianist, has premiered his newest concerto, accompanied by the New York Symphony Orchestra. This concerto in F comes just a year after his 1924 masterpiece, Rhapsody in Blue, upended the classical music world with its embrace of jazz influence. Our final story of this month tells of a scandal in the world of sports, as professional footballers took to the field on December 16th only to find out their opponents were local high school kids. The Chicago Cardinals, contenders for the National Football League Championship, requested 2 extra games be added to their schedule in an attempt to pad their record. After learning the opposition, the Milwaukee Badgers couldn't muster a full team. Chicago player Art Foles covertly enlisted 4 students from Englewood High School to fill in the gaps in the Milwaukee roster under assumed names. The Cardinals, unsurprisingly, trounced the Badgers 58-0, putting Chicago in a tie for first place in the NFL. This underhanded tactic did not go unnoticed, however, and both the Cardinals and the Badgers are threatened with losing their franchise in the Pro League. That's all for this month. Thanks for watching, and have yourself a newsworthy day.
Hello everybody, this is Real Life 2025 Andrew with my actual voice here. I just wanted to pop in and say thank you for all of the wonderful support these videos have been receiving from all of you. It's nice to know I'm not the only one interested in these kinds of stories. I wanted to let you all know that I've been cutting up my older videos and sorting those stories into playlists of shorts on my channel. So now you can go back and listen to old stories about culture, politics, everyday life, all that jazz. I'm also putting them up on an Instagram page just called the Old Hat Revue if you'd rather see them there. It's been fun going back and watching my old videos as well as seeing how much I've learned about video production since, which is quite a lot. Anyway, if you'd like to support what I do, I always appreciate a like or comment on my videos, and of course subscribing here will let you know when I release my next one. So thanks again everybody, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in January.